Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 201 of the iACast. All right, I'm Michael Dowies, and we're back this week for episode 201, and it's just me this time. Everybody is starting to celebrate for the holidays, so that's really awesome. I'll be traveling in the next couple of hours. I'm recording this on a Saturday morning, and we'll have it out on Monday, but I hope you guys have been enjoying all the great content, Spanish with Carla, all the Unmute shows and everything else. So it's been fantastic, and I'm sure everything will pick back up more at the beginning of the year. I wanted to put out an episode today so we stay more consistent and that we are putting out content where you guys want to listen. So there's a few topics I wanted to talk about on this shorter episode of the iACast since we don't have a panel. There's been a lot of news in the industry, and we haven't even had a chance to talk about any of it since we haven't had episodes. We were trying to plan for episode 200, and it went really well, so that was great. But, things go on, and it's great. So, AI has been taking over all of the news media and everything else, even though I think I listened to an episode of Daily Tech News Show, and it was very interesting what they said, that AI is going to be the next internet. People were cashing in on the internet for 20 years since 1995, and it started to taper off, and then now people are going to cash in on AI, throw money at it and see what sticks. So I think that is where it's kind of interesting at this point. But the whole AI craze is great, and I love good stories, and the Sam Altman stuff was very interesting. What happened there and Microsoft, but it's quite intriguing. What happened with that. So I just wanted to put that here, that can be many conversations on our panel. But just also to let everybody know, iOS, iPadOS, and all the OSs got updates this week. So 0.2 came out. The Journal app for iPhone is great, but it is only on the iPhone. It is not on iPad or Mac, so keep that in mind. I wish it was, because those are better platforms to type on. So that's just my views there. It's a great app, though. I really enjoy the Journal app. And so check it out. I'd be curious to know how other people are using it. I typically write messages or I record messages in audio, and then I write a text label to go along with it. And that's really the easiest way to use it as far as a low vision's user's case. So I'd be curious to know how other people are using it. So feedback at iacast.net. We'd love to hear your thoughts. The next thing I wanted to bring up is Beeper Mini. That's been in the news a lot. Now, Beeper Mini, the way it works is it connects to iMessage and makes the servers think that a Mac is connected to send and receive iMessage, even though it's not. It's just kind of reverse engineered. And the important thing with that is that it is secure. It is, this and that, but the one thing that I'm kind of concerned about, it is not working again, by the way, folks, but one of the things that I'm concerned about with this app is that it keeps adding devices to your account if you sign into your Apple ID. And that's a problem, because I'm wondering if you could actually see those on your Apple ID. I have not checked, but I would be kind of iffy about, if Apple support can see 15 Macs have been added to your account because you keep using Beeper Mini when they get it working after it's broken again. So I'm making the decision to delete it off my Android phone and not to use it. Another alternative, if you do have a Mac and you just want to be able to use an Android phone, there's an app called AirMessage that lets you use your own Mac as a relay. So you get the security there. So I would look into that one. I know a lot of people are liking it, so I would check that out as well. The Beeper Mini I thought it was a very cool, very neat app, but I felt like it would be hard for Apple to really get in there and do anything about it because it was using the same methodologies. Somebody on, I think it was Double Tap made the reference that Apple built the house, and basically somebody looked at how Apple built the house and built the same house, and it seemed like or built the way to get into the house. They copied the key and to unlock the door, and I feel like that was neat. I really liked that somebody had the smarts to do that. I do think it's a shame that Apple will not allow it Beeper Mini to be used by Android users, but I understand why they don't, because it is a potential security risk. If somebody else could reverse engineer that, then what kind of spam could get into iMessage? So I do understand where they're coming from. I really do, especially since it's on GitHub. It's an open source platform. So anybody can get into iMessage with this if Apple doesn't do anything about it and leave spam. So that's kind of my views on that. So, and that's one thing that really you don't see much. Well, I've never seen iMessage spam. So I'd be curious to know if you guys have seen iMessage spam. So that's kind of my views on Beeper Mini. I really was hoping to see the app do well, because the biggest thing is not the blue bubble, green bubble garbage. That I don't care about. But what I really feel is important is for Android users to be in iMessage group chats, because that's really where it's at. And I would love to know if RCS coming in iOS next year will support the iMessage group chats, or if group chats can just be group chats and it doesn't matter if you're on iMessage or RCS. To me, that's the biggest thing there. So I would love to know all those things, and it's very interesting to see where all this stuff is going. I love Android, I really do, but there's just things I like about my iPhone that I cannot easily or as easily do on the Android phones. So same with Android tablets as well. I have a Samsung Galaxy Tab S8, and I like it, but I can never figure out what to do with it because my iPad is great. But I think if you're not in the Apple ecosystem, the Samsung devices are a good way to go. One thing though, I hope they fix this, but I know I like the iPhone speakers the best, but like the S21, if you cover that bottom speaker, that top one is not putting out the audio, at least for alert sounds. So that's kind of interesting. I think Pixels do have a better spread of audio coming through their speakers, but I'd love to hear the 8 Pro, the 8 lineup, and compared to the latest Samsungs. So all interesting things there. Those are kind of the big tech headlines, and I just wanted to make sure that we put out a podcast for you guys, since we are kind of moving into the holiday season, and we're working on several projects with the radio. We're working on several things going forward. So this was just a very short one-person discussion. I feel like we could have made this into a longer episode, but I'll be traveling today, so I wanted to make sure we got something ready for you guys and good to go for the holidays, and we will be back with you soon. If in the meantime, keep checking out Unmute Presents, keep checking out Spanish with Carla. We will have new episodes of all of our shows throughout the holiday season, and once we can get another panel back together, we will do that. If we may do this again, where we may have another short iACast episode the weekend of Christmas, so we will see. But I want to thank you guys for joining me for this very, very short episode. Again, if you have feedback, you can do that you can send that at feedback@iacast.net. And I was debating on a pick today, and there's so many things, and what have I been playing with? There's so many tech things, of course, that I'm always playing with, but I don't know that I have a good, okay, I'll pick my AirPods 2 Pro 2 with USB-C. That is pretty nice. And that kind of brings me into one last thing before we go, is they are selling the USB-C case for the AirPods Pro 2 now. So you can just buy that case by itself. I don't know why it took them this long to make that a thing, but you can now buy the USB-C case for the AirPods Pro 2. I really... There's a problem with one of my older AirPods Pro 2 headphones, and I could go to AppleCare and get that fixed. But I just thought, you know what? It's my birthday. I'll just go ahead and pick up the full set. So I really like these AirPods. I do feel like they have a little bit better of a low end on the headphones. I could be totally wrong, but that's just my observation. But so I recommend if you're going to use that USB-C case, just go and pick up the whole set if you can. I'm sure there's some good deals going on for Christmas and holiday season. So I would check that out. But I am enjoying these. I think that they just work better. I like the USB-C charging. It just makes it easier, only having one or two USB-C cables and, not needing a bunch of the USB-C and Lightning cables. So it makes it a lot easier. So that's my thoughts there. And you can find me online as Mike Dowies on all the platforms, Mike Dowies at techopolis.social. I'm Michael Dowies on Facebook, Michael Dowies on LinkedIn and Instagram. I'm Mike Dowies. You can email me at mikedowies@icloud.com. That's MikeDoise at icloud.com. And again, I'm all over the web. So thank you so much for joining me. And we will see you all next time on another iACast episode. Thank you, everyone, and continue checking out everything in the iACast network. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the iACast. We hope you enjoyed the show and found the conversation to be insightful and informative. If you have any feedback or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email at feedback@iacast.net. You can also follow us on Twitter at iACast Network to stay informed about new episodes and other updates. Don't forget to check out more great podcasts on the iACast Network, iacast.net. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon.